Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK Journey video. So today is a big day in AFK Journey. We also have the HEPLER skill trailer just uploaded. We're going to go through it and try to break down, is it going to be useful for anything, or is it going to be a hero we can just pass on and save for the upcoming collab?
Take a lesson in humility.
HEPLER knows how powerful magic can be. That's why he teaches his students not only to love it, but also to respect it. That philosophy is reflected in the magic he knows best.
So we have Specialization in AFK stages in Supreme Arena, so at least not gonna be a Dream Realm hero most likely. He has synergy with other melee carries, Fur-ious, Pheromore, Bailran, and Talia.
Transfiguration. In battle, he uses it to keep his teammates safe. When casting his ultimate, HEPLER transforms into an owlbear and enters his altered form.
Oh, that is cool. That is a really cool transformation. It's basically like the first druid to come to AFK Journey, and I think his owlbear looks really awesome. And also on top of his bar, you see that these 4 different diamonds. And it says that he will gain a set number of spark stacks, which looks to be 4, and that is going to power up his skills, but they will consume 1 stack each time he uses one of his enhanced skills. Okay.
Dealing damage to nearby enemies and taunting them. He also
And when he transforms into the owlbear for the first time, he deals damage and taunts enemies, but it looked like really briefly, so not, and also only probably enemies within melee range.
gains a set number of spark stacks in the process. While in his altered form, HEPLER's other active skills become more powerful and have shorter cooldowns, though each one requires 1 spark stack to cast. When HEPLER
So interestingly, they haven't said if he has like higher stats in his owlbear form. Like I would think that he would be a tankier version of himself, but so far it's just about empowered skills.
runs out of spark stacks, he reverts to his true form, dealing damage to all enemies within range and blinding them for a short time.
Okay, so he'll go back to human form when he runs out of the spark stacks, and he will blind enemies briefly as well. Enemies within range. But no, again, not great crowd control. Honestly, I'm not seeing anything really good enough for AFK stages or really necessarily in PvP yet. So far, it's all ultimate dependent, which is not great for PvP because we don't know if he even has any starting energy or what, how long it'll take him to charge up.
By switching between forms, HEPLER gains different tactical options in battle. While in his true form, his Remedial class skill hits an enemy with magic, dealing heavy damage and reducing their haste. But in his altered form, HEPLER strikes with powerful melee blows instead, dealing AoE damage to nearby enemies and briefly stunning them.
Okay, so in human form, this Remedial class skill has a haste debuff onto one enemy. But even though he's like casting it, it seems to be within melee range, and he is a melee unit with a range of 1. When he is in his owlbear form, then he will stun the enemy. Basically, if you see, he strikes with powerful blows, dealing damage to the target nearby enemies and stunning both of them for a short time. Okay, but again, this is very minor crowd control, not looking like great damage. I'm just not seeing anything that lends HEPLER to being good for AFK stages or even in PvP. It's still completely really tied to your ultimate, and in the human form, just 1 haste debuff onto 1 enemy, that is not good enough.
HEPLER also protects his allies with the extra credit skill. In his true form, casting the skill heals the weakest ally, restoring their health over a short period of time.
Okay, so it seemed like there were 5 healing procs, maybe 1 per second, or maybe even 1 every 0.5 seconds, to heal the weakest ally. I mean, that's interesting, but I mean, when you talk about a healer, we have heroes like Solis who are just on another level of team-wide healing, compared to a hero like HEPLER. Although that, I mean, this is at least a bit more of a utility skill.
In HEPLER's altered form, the skill heals several of his weakest allies and grants them toughened skin, restoring their health and shielding them for a short time to keep them in the fight.
Okay, that is actually pretty interesting. I like his extra credit in owlbear form. It is going to heal multiple allies, also shield multiple allies, really increasing their survivability. So I think that the extra credit in altered form, in the owlbear form, is pretty interesting. But all of the other skills and even the remedial class skill, even in altered form, I don't really think that's enough. And even this, I don't think this on its own is enough utility actually bringing to a fight.
Once his exclusive skill is unlocked, HEPLER places a protective spell.
Fur-ious rescue. Furious rescue, but fur, because he's an owlbear.
On the frontmost adjacent ally at the start of battle. The first time that
He puts his goggles on the frontmost ally, okay.
the ally would take a fatal blow, HEPLER's spell negates the damage and transforms them into a small animal.
Wow, okay, so he is basically like an Aliceth level of protection buff. Making that hero immune to the first fatal blow, and then actually they turn into a bird, and then they retreat to the back, and this time they heal and gain toughened skin, so shielding. And then they're gonna re-enter the battle, probably at full health and even with the shield.
While in this form, the ally becomes
Like that is pretty interesting. And also you see there's an HP boost on him, like on Valen here. I don't know if that's related to HEPLER or what, but basically that is a really nice survival mechanic and that actually has utility for multiple heroes. However, it has to be the frontmost, frontmost adjacent ally. So basically, it does have to be adjacent to HEPLER, meaning that potentially you could even put this onto a ranged unit like we did with Ulna. So I don't want it to be restricted only to melee because usually the PvP meta is related to ranged heroes. But I could imagine, you know, if HEPLER can give this buff to an ally adjacent to him but in front of him, right, or adjacent to him, like to a ranged hyper carry in the back. There's definitely value to that, and even for melee heroes, maybe heroes like Perseus is decent value. But the only thing that I find a little bit confusing is like the hero has to retreat to the back of the battlefield, which I think would then lend itself more towards a ranged hero rather than a melee hero, which would then have to run back, you know, into the battle. But yeah, this is an interesting survival skill. Arguably, you could even say it's better than Aliceth because it fully tops off the hero and shifts aggro away from them, and they come in with even a shield. So this is interesting. I think this is exclusive skill is a saving grace. For AFK stages, I mean, if you need that extra fatal immunity, which, I mean, sometimes maybe you could need, maybe on a Pheromore, maybe on a Saida for some AFK stages, then I can see it. For PvP, I can definitely see it. But so far, the only skill I really am that impressed about is his exclusive skill. Because I think the other skills are too dependent on his ultimate. If he can't even cast an ultimate or he dies too quickly in human form, it's like, that's not great.
invincible and runs toward the back of the battlefield, healing up and gaining toughened skin as they retreat.
Yeah, Valen has a massive, like, health boost. Like, he has increased health somehow.
HEPLER's transfiguration magic has a way of putting his allies at ease. When a battle starts, HEPLER uses Fur-ious rescue to protect a frontline ally, allowing them to shrug off a fatal blow and recover. He then fights in his true form, supporting his allies and keeping them healthy.
I think...
Once he has enough energy, HEPLER transforms into an owlbear and
So the interesting strategy here is basically you have HEPLER protect your melee hypercarry up in the front, and then that hero is going to take all of the damage. Eventually they're even going to die, and then they're going to go back and retreat in the bird form. And during that whole time, basically HEPLER has had enough time being protected, able to charge up his energy, so HEPLER is going to be able to cast an ultimate and actually enter his druid form, and his druid form is where he really shines, right? So I think there's a decent amount of synergy there. If we look again at the beginning of this fight here, I want to see if there's any initial energy, but you can't really tell from this because all the heroes begin with the full energy. So I want to look at, you know, the maybe hero, wait, oh, there's no team synergy in this one. There's only the hero spotlight in this, I guess, skill trailer. So it's tough to say exactly how much initial energy starts with. I think that really is going to be important for him. If we look at this battle over here, I mean, if this is to be believed, if he starts with like 700 initial energy with a hero like Shakir also starts with a high amount of energy. Well, Shakir doesn't start with 700, but he has a lower threshold to actually cast his ultimate. He only needs to get up to 700 or 800. So HEPLER, I mean, if HEPLER has good starting energy, I can definitely see more value to him. I think that's pretty essential because otherwise it's going to take him way too long to charge up and actually enter Druid form where he actually shines. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think his exclusive skill is really good. Let's just finish off the video
With
here.
an unwavering determination to protect the allies behind him.
Okay, guys, so HEPLER overall, I think his exclusive skill is very interesting, the survival that it provides to an ally, and it seems like, because it said adjacent frontmost ally, I feel like it could even be given to a ranged hero, potentially, depending on the position of HEPLER. If it is only for melee heroes, I think there's also value there, because like if you use it with Fur-ious or another melee carry up in the front, that hero is going to take a lot of the aggro at the beginning. Eventually, they're going to take or basically almost die, but then HEPLER protects them from the first fatal blow with his exclusive skill, and then in this whole time, basically, HEPLER has had the opportunity to charge up his energy and enter the Druid form. And in his Druid form, then he's providing some useful buffs, the shielding, the healing for your team, and also he himself should also be tankier. So I think interesting hero, definitely. I think some usage could definitely be done in PvP. Now, I would definitely not say that he is going to be top tier or anything in PvP, but I think there's definitely going to be some potential for usage there. Apart from that, in AFK stages, I think if you need that survival, that immunity fatal blow to like either Pheromore or Saida on your team, I can see how potentially he could have some usage. However, Ulna probably does his job way better, and that is really the thing. Even in PvP, you're going to have to compare a hero like HEPLER to a hero like Ulna. Well, of course, Ulna is a Celestial Hypogean and HEPLER is main faction, but like, you know, when you're talking about the top tier meta of PvP, if Ulna just does a way better job than HEPLER, that is one thing. However, you know, you have to run multiple teams like in Clash runs, like in Supreme Arena, and so like you can only run Ulna on one team. So having HEPLER on another team as like a budget Ulna, or even like, you know, Alicet, like they do have their utility. So I think HEPLER overall, interesting hero. I think though for the majority of players, which are focused on Dream Realm number 1 and then number 2 like any maybe top tier in the other game modes, HEPLER is not that. HEPLER seems to be maybe usable in PvP and AFK stages, but probably not top tier and definitely not going to be good for Dream Realm. So for all those reasons, for majority of players, he's an easy skip. You can save your resources for the upcoming collab in case those heroes are strong. Otherwise, just for upcoming raid up heroes in the future. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. This is my thoughts on HEPLER. If you have any other opinions, feel free to share them in the comment section. That is always much appreciated. Thank you guys all so much for watching. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus Dragon Crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video in a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.